Good morning, everyone. We hope everyone is doing well today. And we're glad to have you all back here with us at Creekside Chronicles on Creekside Maples Homestead. It's been a wild, wild time of weather, that's for sure, as you can probably see by the latest video we uploaded. It has not been fun at all. It's been rather nasty. And so we're glad that you're here today. Good morning to Corrine and her family in Jamaica, and Joe from PA. Hello, Lisa. Jesse from Lazy Days Ahead down in Houston. David and Sandy. Good morning, folks. Glad to have you here with us this morning. Um, from Oregon, and Craig and Marlene from New York, upstate New York. Casey from Michigan. Just everybody in here. So we appreciate you all being here with us. And if you see this eye is a little bit red. I've got a little something there on my eyelid that's affecting it. So if I squint a bit or my eyes look funny, that's why. And it'll probably show up in the video, but that's okay. It'll hopefully heal up here. It just kind of makes my eye scratchy and itchy and all that. But we're glad everyone's here. Hey, Tim, how are you from Arkansas? And Mike's in here from Indiana. So many folks from all over the place. And again, we're so glad that you're all with us. Thank you, everybody, for praying for us. We have just had an awful time of weather and a mess of snow first, and then that turned to a deluge of rain with frozen ground. All that snow melted, and then from there, it just became a flood and washed away a lot of the homestead, roads, trails, paths that we have. The mill road was washed out. The sugar shack road's washed out. There's some washing out done across by the chicken coop and the barn, but it's all good. We made it, and it could have been a whole lot worse. So thank you, everybody, for praying. Thank you for being concerned about us. Today or last night, it turned back to another snow squall. So now we've got some more snow. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're back to rain again. So probably more flooding. But it just, it's crazy weather. But we're glad that you're here. Let me know. Can you hear me good? Is everything good on the audible end there? Can you hear me good? Morning, Paul, Bearded Carpenter. So glad you're here with us. And if you're just joining us, you can see up on the screen, Micah 7 and 8 is where we're going to be reading from today. And we're going to talk about one step at a time. And Joni's here. She's just getting a song together. Then she'll be singing a song here in just a little bit. But we're going to get into just a little bit of the word here and some encouragement and see what the Lord has for us today. But it is a good day. It's right now, the sun's trying to shine a little bit, so we're glad to see the sun. But anyway, if we're going to get right into this, it's an interesting topic I want to talk about. And I want to start this talking about an individual that everybody probably has heard about if you know anything about sports. But let's read the scriptures first here, and we'll go to Micah 7 and 8. And I would encourage you to, if you don't have a Bible, get yourself one. There's all kinds of free ones online, and you can download them. They're great to have and great to follow along with. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Good morning, and glad to have you with us today for sure. So let's go to Micah chapter 7 and verse 8. It's a very familiar portion of scripture. And again, for those of you that ask, that have asked, just so you know, and I say this simply because just so that everyone understands, this channel is not yet monetized. We're trying to get there, but it's a long road ahead. Obviously, it takes 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. So we're a long ways from there. But in the meantime, if you do want to give, you can go right to the PayPal button on this channel's banner on the page, on the YouTube page, and you can click on PayPal, and you can, if you choose to, not telling you have to, but if you wish to or want to, and thank you to all those that do faithfully every week do that. You can go right to the PayPal button on the channel banner for this channel, and it'll take you right to PayPal, and you can give your gift right through there. And we certainly appreciate it for sure. So anyhow, let's read the scriptures. Micah 7 and verse 8. Very familiar. It says, "Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy." And I like paraphrasing that simply by saying, don't get too excited yet, devil. I'm not done. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. And that has been such an encouraging bit of scripture for us, especially the last few years, going through different things and health issues and challenges. But I just love that. Don't get too excited yet, enemy. I'm not done. I may have fallen, but I'm getting back up. It may be dark, but the Lord is a light unto me. And I want to talk simply about that today. How many have ever heard of Walter Payton? I'm sure many of you, if you have followed sports at all, you know who Walter Payton is. Somebody sat down one time and tried to figure out how far, he's a football player, how far he had run, he was a running back, in his career. And so they looked at all of his stats, all of the statistics, all of the records, and they found out that he had run for over 9 miles in his football career. 9 miles. Now you say, well, that's not a very far distance. It is when you're playing football. And then as they begin to study his statistics, his facts, his stats, they begin to realize that he was knocked down every 4 yards. So he ran 9 miles, but every 12 feet of those 9 miles, he get knocked down. So that kind of changes the entire situation. It's one thing to get out and just go for a 9-mile run. But if you were on that run and every 12 feet of those 9 miles, you were getting knocked on your backside, on your back, tackled, pulled on, hit, you can understand that those 9 miles now have become a huge, huge deal. So how would you like to run 12 feet and get knocked down every single time? If that would have been the recruiting slogan, I highly doubt there'd be too many people that signed up for that job. Runner needed. 9 miles, get knocked down every 12 feet by a 300-pound man that has one thing on his mind, and that's to put you on the ground. But the secret to his success was in the fact that he would jump right back up again. So he would get knocked down, and then he would get up, and he'd run 4 more yards. Now, it didn't seem like much, I'm sure, but at the end of his career, they discovered that he had ran over 9 miles, 4 yards, 12 feet a time. Walter Payton went down in history as one of the greatest running backs in the history of the NFL. Not because he never got knocked down, but because when he did get knocked down, he didn't stay there. He got back up. He would get up and he would run 4 more yards, 12 more feet. Was he bruised? You can be guaranteed he was bruised. Was he sore, hurting? You can be guaranteed he was hurting. Would he get discouraged trying to push through? I'm sure there are days that he got discouraged. But in spite of the pain, in spite of the discouragement, in spite of the setbacks, in spite of the fact that he had a target on his back and everybody wanted to hit him, he determined in himself that no matter the opponent, he just made up his mind. You may knock me down, you may slow me down, but I'll get up again and I'll keep running. And if I only get 12 more feet, I'm going to keep running. He determined that he was going to be his opponent's worst nightmare. He's going to be the one that's tapping them on the shoulder in the end zone, smiling at them, going, see, I told you, don't get too excited yet. You haven't defeated me yet. You see, touchdowns are often scored 4 yards at a time. But so many people are waiting for that big break, that big ta-da, the glory run, the glamour and the glitz, and that huge 98 yard run back. But the truth of it is, most of the game was played and gains were made, measured not in run backs and long distances, but in little bursts of speed and yardage that was just measured by feet and sometimes mere inches. That is how he became famous. There was nothing fancy. There was nothing glamorous. There was just a grinding away, just an attitude of keep going, that, boy, I'm hurting, but I'm going to keep going just a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And when no one was paying attention, a little more. When no one encouraged, a little more. When it hurt so bad, but a little more. When no one believed in it, a little more. You just have to determine in yourself that you're the one that's going to be standing there. You may be beaten and tattered, but you're going to still be standing at the end of it saying, I made it through this. You see, the great players are not the ones who come out and the first time they get knocked down, they walk off the field complaining. No, they're not going to do that. They're not the ones that are going to stand there and go, I'm bored, or I'm going to another game where it's easier, or I'm quitting. I didn't sign up for this. I thought it was going to be different. I thought it was going to be better. When I became a Christian, that meant all my problems were over and I'd never worry about anything. And now that I have faith in God, that means all my bills are instantly paid and the vehicle never breaks down and the kids are always going to be great and the relationships are always going to be great and the marriage is going to just be amazing. Everything in my life now is going to be great because I have faith. And if you believe that, I've got oceanfront property in Arizona, I'll say as well. Because that's not the way life is. But sometimes people jog out on the field in the first minute that they feel a little bit of resistance. It's, no, this ain't for me. I'm out of here. I'm done. There's too much opposition. I quit. I didn't sign up for this. See, the great players are the ones who jump up and go back to the huddle and hurting and shoulders separated and arm or knees out of joint and torn the ACL and now they're back at it again and they go another 4 yards. They get up and keep going and they're plugging away and they're getting dirty and they're getting muddy and they're getting bruised and their lips busted and their eye is black and their nose is bleeding and there's grass hanging off their helmet and their clothing is filthy and dirty and grass stained and all of those things and everyone just seems to be charging towards you and picking at you and you can't seem to, but you get up and you keep going. Just 4 more yards. You get knocked down, but you get up and you keep going. You get right back up. When I stand before the judgment seat of Christ, my life is reviewed. I don't want it said of me that, hey, You gave up, you quit, you at least a little bit of resistance and you're all done. You threw in the towel, you blamed everybody, you projected your anger on somebody else. It was never good enough, or it was always the world's fault, or what do you expect? Life is life. It is. I mean, we had 4 feet of snow, and now we have basically bare ground in 48 hours. We went from freezing cold, -20, to +15, and a raging flood where we could have lost everything. Thank the Lord we didn't. See, life is like that. You don't know one minute to the next. But you get up, you keep going. You don't give up. Maybe you got knocked down. You get back up. See, the race is not to the swift, but to the one that endures to the end. In my description for today's teaching, you'll notice I mentioned the tortoise and the hare. Nobody was shouting on the tortoise. Nobody believed in the tortoise. Everyone probably said, oh, why are you even going to show up to the race? Look how fast that rabbit is. But the turtle just said, because I signed up for it. Because I said I was going to do this, and I'm in it to the end. I may not be the fastest, the swiftest, may not be as glamorous as the hare, but I am going to move forward. You see, Paul said it this way in the scriptures. He said, I've looked back over my life, and I've determined that I fought a good fight. I've kept the faith. I've finished the course. If you look at his life, when he became a Christian on the road to Damascus, it wasn't a life of glamour. Look, he was beaten with rods 3 times. He was left for dead because they stoned him. He had to be let down over a wall in a basket. He went hungry and thirsty, cold, chased by people that he used to call friends. So many people wanted his head cut off. Paul's life was not glamorous. He was in and out of prison, beaten up, severely wounded. At the end of his days, they said his body was so racked in pain from so many broken bones and injuries that he couldn't walk straight. He was stooped over and would need help moving around. But he said, I fought a good fight. I've finished it. I've kept the faith. It doesn't mean everything's going to go our way, but it means I've just made up my mind. I can get through this. And it may not be glamorous. I didn't do it without stumbling a few times. I've got some failures and some faults, but I got back up. It was a fight. But I didn't let the enemy just run all over me. I finished it. Paul said I made it 4 yards at a time. Now, let me share with you this. A couple of things about running 4 yards at a time. It's not glamorous. In fact, it's rather boring. Now, if you watch football or whatever, watching that running back grind out a yard here and a yard there, it's not glamorous. Everyone loves seeing that long ball, that pass by the quarterback launched downfield and caught for the touchdown. Everyone likes to see that run back. Everyone likes to see that wide receiver just catch that long pass and run, because that's glamorous. But for that running back that's in there, that's getting beat to pieces just to get a yard or two, that's not glamorous work, but he does it because that's what he signed up to do. You see, it isn't glamorous when you're in this battle. It can get boring. And most of us, if you're like me, have a problem with boredom. We can handle enemies, we can handle adversity, but oftentimes just pure old boredom gets at us. Israel's greatest test, it wasn't just getting across the Red Sea. No, Israel's greatest test was eating the same cereal every morning for 40 years in the desert. Manna every single morning. Oh, my word. I like some variety. One morning I'll have a bagel or some oatmeal the next, or some eggs and bacon and some toast and a coffee or a tea. Or I like to mix it up a bit. Some quiche or a sunrise skillet and fried potatoes and fried dough and biscuits and gravy. I like to mix it up, but manna every day, 40 years of it. Is there anything else out there to eat? You see, David was anointed king over Israel, but then after that, he had to go back to the pastures to keep the sheep. It was boredom. Jesus was baptized by John, but then he had to go back to the wilderness. See, many people want the glory, but don't want to pay the price of just grinding away in anonymity to reach the goal. You see the 98-yard punt return on Sports Center, but you don't see the guy who's moving the ball inches at a time. Many people want the glory. They want their name mentioned. They want to be out there. They're the, whoo, look at us, look at me, see what we're doing. Many people want the glory, but they don't want to work for it. Too many saints, too many people, too many faithful, too many whatever. All kinds of singers want to sing. All kinds of preachers want to preach. All kinds of people want to be used. That is their faithfulness. See, that's the thing, is their faithfulness. See, victory seldom comes with glory, but more often it comes with the unseen intercession. And more often than not, we gain ground not by 50, 100 yards, but we gain ground by inches. Move forward one step today. Move forward one step today. Move forward one more step today. See, no one's broadcasting our exploits. We're laboring in anonymity. We're just grinding away, and it can get boring and uneventful. It's not flashy. But if you're still moving forward, isn't that something to celebrate? You say, oh, I wished I had that, or I wished I had that, and this here and that there and everything else. And I wish I had just one step at a time. And I know that there's a lot of homesteaders on here, a lot of homesteaders that listen to these. And I want you to know that don't compare your channel or all that to what everyone else is doing. This thing is a roller coaster, and some months you'll move forward, some months you'll come back. You'll see stretches where you feel like you're losing more than you're gaining. But in the long run, if you just keep plodding along, keep doing what you do, it'll come for you. But you've got to just one step at a time. One step at a time. It'll come. Don't start trying to mimic what someone else is doing, because you are the best you that you can be. God made you that way. Well, if I do this, then maybe if I did what they're doing over there, do what you do best, because that's the best thing you're good at. You see, you study the life of David, and I do that a lot. I love David. He's one of the greatest characters in the scriptures. But you'll find that before he entered the stage of the valley of Elah, where everyone was watching him to see what he would do with Goliath, he'd already fought a couple of battles when nobody was looking. He did. He killed a lion when no one was looking. He killed a bear when no one was looking. You know why he did that? Because he needed to move forward, to stay safe. But there was no one applauding him. There was nobody there shouting him on. There was nobody there patting him on the back. Way to go. No, he had to do it all by himself, where no one saw it and no one knew it, but he did it anyhow. It's the things that we do when no one's looking that really builds our true character. It's what we do and what we say and how we act when no one else is around us. That's who we really are. That's truly who we really are. And so before David fought a Goliath in front of everybody, before they shouted his name after he took Goliath's head off, he killed a lion, he killed a bear when no one else was around, simply because it was the right thing to do. No fanfare, no cheerleaders, no audience, no one over on the sideline. David, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. There was none of that going on. It was just him, his enemy, his attitude, his faith. There was a war veteran one time that said these words. He said, I'll tell you, when you're fighting your fight, most of the time the band isn't playing. When you're pressing to your victory, the band isn't playing. But we need to learn to press on, even though it's not glamorous, even though it's not flashy, even though no one's singing your praises, you just keep moving forward. You have to. It says, I'm a soldier in the army of my God. The Lord Jesus Christ is my commanding officer. The Holy Bible is my code of conduct. You see, faith, prayer, and the word are my weapons of warfare. I've been taught by the Holy Spirit, trained by experience, tried by adversity, and tested by fire. I'm a volunteer in this army. I'm a volunteer in this army. And I'm enlisted for eternity. And I will either retire in this army or rapture at the rapture or die in this army, but I will not get out. I'll not sell out. You can't talk me out or push me out. I'm faithful, reliable, capable, and dependable. That's the kind of people we have to be. If my God needs me, I'm here. If he needs me in the Sunday school department, I'm here. Whatever he wants me to do, I'm here. If he needs me to feed the hungry, I'm here. If he needs me to help my neighbor, I'm here. And I don't need to be pampered, petted, primed up, pumped up, picked up, pepped up at all. I just have to be determined I'm going all the way through. I'm a soldier. No one has to call me and remind me. No one has to write me, visit me, entice me, or lure me. I understand I am a soldier. We push forward. I'm not a wimp. You're not a wimp. I'm in place and I'm saluting my king, obeying his orders. I give praise to his name and I'm building his kingdom. That's what we have to determine. You have to say, I'm determined. I'm committed to this. I can't have my feelings hurt bad enough to turn me around. I can't be discouraged enough to turn me aside. I can't lose enough to cause me to quit. You have to keep going on. You see, when we started on this earth, we had nothing. If we end up with nothing, at least we come out even. But I'll win because my God supplies all of my needs. I'm more than a conqueror, so don't settle for just being a conqueror. You're more than a conqueror. You will triumph. You can do all things through Christ. Devils can't defeat you. People can't disillusion you. Weather can't weary me, even though we are facing just a horrible winter this year. Sickness isn't going to stop us. Battles cannot beat us. Money can't buy us. Governments can't silence us. And hell, quite frankly, can't handle us. So what are you going to do? Are you going to fade off into the oblivious darkness and do nothing? Blame it on, well, I never had enough, or this wasn't right, or you're going to get up again and go 4 more yards and fight on. I'll tell you what, it's discouraging. Can you imagine? It's discouraging to run 4 yards and every 12 feet get knocked down. That's tough. We have to fight the battle of discouragement. And I'll tell you right now, it's a tough battle. A lot of people are discouraged right now. There's a lot of people that are struggling emotionally with discouragement, with depression. Every day just trying to drag themselves out of bed again and put one foot in front of the other because it's been such a long, cold, arduous winter, or the pandemic or the shutdowns have caused you to lose jobs and relationships and family and separation anxiety. And I mean, it has been tough. People have taken their lives and marriages have just imploded. Relationships, jobs, all of it. But he's with you through it all. He is. And you have to be like Walter Payton, if he sees just a little running lane, he's heading through it. Just a little light in the darkness. Just a little light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not a train coming. It isn't, trust me. You just have to find a way to energize your faith and pick yourself up and say, okay, man, you're right. I've been allowing things to dictate to me my faith level, and I've allowed circumstances, and I've allowed problems and lack of things and loss of stuff, and I've allowed those things to dictate my faith level and my mood and my everything. Take back control of that. Take back control of that. You can. It's not easy. It's a struggle. It's a battle. But you take back control of it and say, today is a new day. Winter's almost over. The sun's getting warmer. The days are getting longer. I don't know how God will work it all out, but he will. He will. You got knocked down. Get back up. Don't stay in the mud. Don't stay in the dirt. And people say, well, I don't know what to do next. And we've got nothing here to do. And there's, we hear no content to film, or nothing's happening, or this has gone wrong, or we tried the chickens and the fox got the chickens, and we tried the cows, but whatever. It all happens. It does. And it's sickening and it's debilitating our faith. But that's where you pull yourself together and look at it all and say, but hold on a minute. If I can just get 4 more yards and then 4 more, just 12 feet, just keep going, just get up. And then by the end of it all, people will look at you and say, no matter what came at them, no matter the sicknesses that came at them, no matter the financial struggles they had, no matter the relationship issues they had, no matter the job problems, no matter what the pandemic did, no matter what people did, they kept positive. They kept going. That doesn't mean that you're not fearful. It doesn't mean you didn't cry your tears. It doesn't mean that you didn't feel like quitting. It means you just chose not to. And you got right back up when you were tempted just to lay there, when you were tempted just to cave, when you were tempted to throw in the white towel and just roll over and not even try anymore. Just leave the lights off. I'm not getting out of bed. I'm done. And if you tell yourself that long enough, you'll believe that and you will be done. Or you'll force yourself back up and go, okay, let's go. 4 more yards. 4 more yards. And I tell you, it's tough, because when you're a target or people are targeting you, trust me, we know all about that. When you got Walter Payton had a great big target on his back, that's the guy you want to stop. You stop him, you stop advancing the game forward, you stop the ball from moving forward. So everybody, where's he at? Where's he at? And they were gunning for him. And that's the guy we want to get him. We want to put him down. We're going to stop his forward progress one way or the other. However, we've got to do it. And that's tough to deal with when you know you've got a target on your back and you feel like people are targeting you. It's tough. But you just get up and realize, I knew this going into it. This is the way it's going to be. So you keep on keeping on. And when they knock you down, you get back up. And when you get 2 yards, you get 2 yards. When you get 1 yard, you get 1 yard. When you get half a yard, you get half a yard. But sometimes you get 6 yards and 10 yards and 12 yards. And it feels so good when those runs came that you get 15 yards. That's what you've got to look so far forward to keep on going. You see, you have to. You have to remember those things. Every time it seems that you're making progress, sometimes you feel like, oh, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, just waiting for it to, oh, it's been good for 2 days. Something's got to go wrong now. That's ridiculous thinking. Don't think that way. Oh, we had a good day. Now we're going to have a bad day. That's ridiculous thinking. If you look that way, everything will bother you. So you can't take this much longer. I guarantee you can take a whole lot more than what you know you can. You say, I can't handle the disappointment. My hopes get dashed and all those sort of things. So I'm just going to lay here. And no, you're not. You get up. Well, it didn't work out the way I thought. Doesn't matter. What was you doing it for? For the glory? For the fanfare? Or was you doing it because you felt this is what you were supposed to do? And if you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, then do it anyway. See, David knew he had to kill that lion. No one had to tell him. Nobody was there cheering him on. No one gave him a seminar on how to kill lions 101. And no one was there afterwards and handed him a trophy and said, you're the number one lion slayer. There was none of that went on. He just knew, this is what I have to do. This is what I'm called to do. This is the direction I must go. So I'm going to do it. And sometimes you have to look at things that way and go, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but it just doesn't seem like it's going the way I want. It's just like Creekside Chronicles. Okay. I'll be very honest. We feel this is what the Lord wants us to be doing, ministering on Sunday mornings to people all over the country, all over the world. That's what we feel. And we look at it sometimes and go, well, we've only got, 40 subscribers so far and, 100 views or whatever. And you can look at that and go, man, that is so small, so tiny. But you know what? That's 30 or 40 we didn't have. And that's 100 views we didn't have. And then through the week, others are watching it. And then they're telling other people about it. So somewhere, some way, we'll get to that place where it's, we'll have those thousands and all that. But right now, let's celebrate where we're at. Because I am happy. The fact that there's still every week people that text us, that send us messages that say, I needed that. And if that's just one person, then that's something to celebrate. That's something to celebrate. You have to keep going. No matter what the obstacles are, you keep going. You do. You have to be like the prophet and remember the words of the prophet. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. Don't get too excited with my end yet, devil. Don't get too excited that you think I've quit or I've fallen or failed. Don't celebrate yet. Can you imagine the scene in hell when Christ was crucified? Jesus, and Lucifer understood that, if he could eliminate Jesus Christ, then he could eliminate any obstacle to him retaking the throne and retaking the worship of humanity, because that's what Lucifer ultimately wanted. He wanted to control the world, that he wanted people to worship him instead of Jesus Christ. And so he thought, all I've got to do is remove Christ and then I'll have free reign. So can you imagine when Christ, his head fell to his chest on the cross on Calvary, and he said, it is finished, and the sky darkened, and Christ died. You know what was going on in the realm of the devil? The devil was shouting and celebrating. He was going, we win, we win. Oh yeah, pack it all up, boys. We're going back to the throne room. We're taking control of it because I just eliminated the only obstacle there was, Jesus Christ. But then when they're getting ready to load up and leave, walking through the gates of hell came Jesus Christ himself. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the enemy standing there saying, this can't be true. I just saw you die. I killed you myself. You can't do this. Yeah, I can. Keys, please. And he walked out of death, hell, and the grave, Christ did, with the victory. Even though it looked like a defeat, he walked out with the victory. So I'm telling you right now, don't be so quick to call it a defeat just because it may look like one. You may have to look at it and go, hold on a minute. This could be the greatest victory we ever have. I'm not going to quit now. just because there's a target on my back, or because I've been knocked down, or because it hasn't gone the way I thought it should, or I haven't got the response I thought we should, or it hasn't grown as fast as we thought it would, or we're facing this problem or that problem. It doesn't mean it's over, because Jesus Christ walked out of that hell, and he was seen by many of his people after the fact. But what I love about it is, if you follow the scriptures through, nowhere's in there do you see Jesus going, well, it was the Jews' fault, or it was the Romans' fault. Oh, if those people had just respected me more, if they just understood, I fed them, I healed them. Do they forget what I've done for them? Don't they remember all I did for them? You don't see him talking that way. You don't see him blaming people. You don't see him. No, because he understood, I can't let my mouth put me back into a defeat. Because what you speak will determine whether you have the mentality and the spirit of success or defeat. There's some people, no matter what they say, it's always down in the dumps and gloom and doom and all of it. And I'm not talking about, if you've got confidants that you talk to and you can bare your soul to, that's great. We need those. But there are some people that, you just don't want to talk to them. And you know who I'm talking about. You've got some in your life that they couldn't say anything good if they had to. But Jesus wasn't like that. He didn't blame the disciples. He didn't blame Peter for cursing him around the campfire. He didn't blame Thomas for doubting. He didn't blame Judas for selling him out. None of those things. He said, it was for the joy that was set before me. He said, I'm looking down the road and I understand that I'm going through what I'm going through right here in this juncture of life, because it's going to make a joyous thing down the road. And it's the same thing in your life, in my life. Sometimes what we're going through, it looks pretty bad. But if you hold on, you're going to walk out of that hell, and you're going to have a key to a whole new dominion and doorway that you never had before. And then you're going to put that key in that lock, and you're going to open it up, and God's going to usher in to a whole new realm of blessing, of promise, because you didn't quit, because you got up. Every time you were knocked down, you got back up. Oh, you may have only gained 4 yards, 12 feet at a time, but you got back up and you kept on going. When we decide that we're going to keep going, even though we get knocked down, then we decide we're going to get right back up. That's determination. And that will bring victory in our lives, in our minds, in our thoughts, in our marriages, in our homes, in our relationships, in our finances. It'll bring victory on our homesteads. It'll bring victory on our whatever our endeavors are. It'll bring victory, and God will make a way. So you just have to get to that place. I don't care how many times I've been knocked down. I don't care how slow the process has been. You just got to keep going. 4 yards at a time. And then when it's all said and done, they look at the stats, over 9 miles of running, of distance that Walter Payton gained over his time in the football in the NFL. 9 miles. But every 12 feet, he got knocked down. Now, I had done the math to figure out how many times that would have been over 9 miles that he got knocked down. But you think of it, I don't know how many feet right off the top of my head is in a mile. But you take that, divide it by 12, and that shows you how many times per mile he get knocked down. And then you times that by 9, and that'll tell you how many times in his career he get knocked down to gain 9 miles. It's going to be incredible. I don't know how many times you've been knocked down. I don't know how many things that stand in your way today. I don't know what opposition is robbing you of your faith. I don't know what it is that is creating that depressiveness that you can't seem to move forward. Maybe you're just tired of it all, tired of the long winter, tired of, I don't know, pandemics and politicians, tired of the unrest and tired of the attacks on Christianity, tired of unrest in the church and unrest in the world, fearful of World War III because of Russia and Ukraine and all that. Who knows? So many things going on around us right now. But I know this. God has got it under control. You say, well, it doesn't look like it. Well, you don't see through his eyes, and you're not sitting where he's sitting. He's simply asking you, get back up. Don't quit now. Keep on going. It may not all be perfect right now. It may not all be rosy red right now. It may not be exactly what you want right now. There's the dogs barking. But it's all right. Sorry about that. We've had somebody come to the door there. But here they are. Even the dogs are amening me today. But it's all right. God is with us no matter what we're going through. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to stay faithful. It's a good day to make your way outside today and simply say, you know what? I'm going to change my attitude a little bit. I'm going to adjust my focus a little bit. I'm going to see things just a little bit better. I'm going to keep going. Someone did the math? Dave and Sandy? Wow. 3,960 times. Isn't that something? To go 9 miles. Would you have done that? Would you have done that? I don't know if I could have done that, but he did. And you can. What do you say, folks? Let's start this week with the determination. I'm going to change my outlook just a bit. I'm going to change my focus just a bit. I'm going to believe this. I've drugged myself around all week long. I'm shaking that off. I'm getting back up and I'm putting a smile on my face. And it may not be perfect. It may not even have changed anything yet, but change you first. And that will change things around you. It really will. What do you say? I think it's worth it. Have you got a song we're going to sing? All right. Joni's coming and we're going to sing a song. Hope you don't mind having a song at the end of this. But I just really feel that perhaps somebody out there today, you've just been really struggling with inspiration to keep going. And I hope I've given you some today. I hope the Lord's given you some today to not quit. Come on, folks. It's almost springtime, especially here in Canada. We've only got a couple, 3 weeks of, winter left. The snow is going to be all gone. Temperatures are going to start rising. The sun's going to shine more. The days are going to be longer. To everything there's a time. Everything there's a season. And the seasons are changing. The seasons are changing, physically around us, geographically. But they're changing in your life too, in your heart. They are. And it's going to be all right. Listen to her as she sings. I'll pull the microphone over.
Oh, I have this confidence because I've seen the faithfulness of God, the still inside the storm, the promise of the shore. I trust the power of your word, enough to see your kingdom first, beyond the barren place, beyond the ocean waves. When I walk through the waters, I won't be overcome. When I go through the rivers, I will not be drowned. My God will make a way. I am not afraid. lose heart. Here I will lift my arms, oh, and stop to sing into the night. My praise will cause the sun to rise, declare the battle won, declare that it is done. When I walk through the waters, I won't be overcome. When I go through the rivers, I will not be drowned. My God will make a way. I am not afraid. When I am in the fire, I will not feel the flame. I stand before the giant, declaring victory. My God will make a way. I am not afraid. Before me, behind me, always beside me. No shadow, no valley where you won't find me. I am not afraid. When I walk through the waters, I won't be overcome. When I go through the river, I'll not be drowned. My God will make a way. I am not afraid. Before me, behind me, always beside me. No shadow, no valley where you won't find me. I am not afraid. I am not afraid.
Amen. That's right, Jesse. She's the frosting on the cake. Her singing. I had this thought. If you are really struggling and trying to hang on to what I said today, I challenge you, get yourself a little piece of paper and write on that piece of paper, one step at a time. And just put that on your fridge. Use your fridge magnets so that every day when you go to that fridge, you're going to see one step at a time. And remember the words today so that that'll become your focus. I challenge somebody to do that. And let me know if you do. Send us a message, email, whatever, and let us know. I put that on my fridge this week and what a difference it has made. And it'll help you. It truly will help you. We appreciate each one that comes in here, and do us a favor. We would love to see our channel grow. And the only way it's going to is through you folks. So if you've got friends that would enjoy this kind of word, would enjoy this kind of gathering on a Sunday morning, I know people are busy and it's early for so many of you, and God bless you for getting up this early to be with us. I know some of you get up at 5:30 and 6 in the morning to be here with us.
Yes, I do.
And that's amazing to us. And God's going to honor that sacrifice. But help us grow. Let's see if we can't grow this another 10, 20 subscribers this week, simply by you going to your friends, your church friends, and saying you need to go here, subscribe to this channel, and watch and hear and listen. If you will do that, how many will commit to that this week? Just put a amen down there and say, we're going to commit to that. We're going to help. If you can do that, we appreciate it so much. And so we thank you all, and we appreciate you all. And again, the flood waters here on the farm have receded. Let me share this testimony with you. The water was literally at the door of the sugar shack. It was raging over top of the bridge. You saw the video. You saw the little inset picture where we stood on the bridge the day before, and then you saw what happened. But that bridge stood there. It stayed.
Yes, because it was built strong.
The foundation. It was anchored. against the raging floodwaters of storms. And I went down and I stood at that bridge. I saw it covered in debris. I saw all the pieces of wood piled on it, all the ice all piled up on it. I saw all the beating it had taken. But the one thing I noticed is that it stayed.
Yes.
It stayed. And that's where this message has come from today. That no matter how much the storm, it can beat on you. But if you're anchored, after the storm, you'll be there. And that water came right up to the door of the sugar maple shack. But it's like the hand of God just said, that's far enough. And it never went inside the shack at all. Not a drop. And to that, I give God the glory first. And I give you guys all the thanks as well for your prayers. When you knew what we were going through, you had our back. And I appreciate that. Joni and I appreciate that. So it's an amazing thing. And that's what God does. He really does. So thank God for it. God bless you all. Thank you for joining us today. I hope this has encouraged you. Send us an email. Let us know. Emails on the website, It's on the YouTube channel there under the About page. I believe our email is there. And so, yeah, help us out. Help us grow. And we love you all. Appreciate you. And we'll see you right back here on the next one. Paul says Matthew 7:24. Back up to that real quick. Matthew 7:24, Paul says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man who built his house on the rock. He's a good God.
Yes.
He's a good God. He truly, truly is. Agatha Brown, how are you? Have a great day, everyone. Wonderful, wonderful presence that we feel of God's Spirit, and that is so amazing. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Say a prayer for this eye of mine today. I've got to figure out what's going on with that, and we shall see you all later. Take care. Have a great Sunday. God bless.
Have a good day, everyone.
Have a great week.
We love you all so much.
Don't forget, Tuesday night back here, right on Creekside Maples. We always have fun on Tuesday night. You won't want to miss it.
Yes, we do.
God bless you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.